about the death of Monty Williams' wife in a car crash? I'm sure one of you guys wrote the police report for that.
Yo, it's the button.
Oh, they disconnected. You see how this works? Jesuit Google doesn't want to. You guys get over there. Hey, sir, you are a piece of work. You are what's wrong with the world.
Hey, don't shout us there.
I am going to.
Actually, you took a sacred oath. You took a sacred oath to protect his freedom of speech. He can yell, he can swear, he can say whatever he wants. It's a God-given right. You took a sacred oath. Men, women, and children have given blood, sweat, and tears for that. And you telling him not to yell while you a fancy pants to their car is the epitome of hypocrisy. You just escorting somebody in a fancy suit to their car, these guys, but you're yelling at somebody for engaging in free speech. Because they're not personal security for somebody. You guys work to uphold our rights.
Not private security for
This guy just walked a gentleman to his car as a personal escort. Why do certain citizens? Why do certain citizens get police escort and you yell at other citizens for expressing the First Amendment? Why not? That's fine, but
One at a time.
even if it's not in good taste, it's his right.
If we want.
I'm sorry, I don't know who to listen to.
It's his right to. It's even if you don't like it. The First Amendment was meant to protect us against feelings, right? The First Amendment was made to protect controversial speech. Back in the day, you didn't say something King George liked. The First Amendment, exactly. Even if it's a somber thing, even something that you don't agree with, that's why you took that oath. You know? Do you take that oath seriously?
I do.
What's the Third Amendment?
Third Amendment.
Yes.
I know the first and second. Is it?
Okay,
I don't want to be wrong.
No, that's fine. I appreciate you being humble enough to admit I've literally asked dozens of officers across the country in the last few weeks, and only one gave me an answer, and I'm pretty sure he went back and Googled it. But but most officers are not even. No, that's the Fourth Amendment, right? But the Third Amendment said no soldier shall be quartered in anyone's house in peacetime or war. Now we have it with the NSA, right? You yell at this guy for exercising his free speech, but you guys won't round up.
NSA
Well, I mean, they're quartered in your house. The digital soldiers, unconstitutional, right? They're in your house. They're in your phone. They're in your laptops. That's unconstitutional. The NSA itself is inherently unconstitutional. And then Edward Snowden came out, 10 years ago and said they're spying on Americans? They got more money. That's true, but this is a digital soldier that's in your house. This is updated. You have a digital soldier that's watching. They can go into. Well, we should.
I think that's more of a Fourth Amendment.
It is. It's also a violation of our Fourth Amendment. Yes. It's also a violation of your Fifth Amendment too, because you're not incriminating.
I have such a bad camera person. I would forget about. I'm holding.
Don't trip over that sign. I've done it. Two of us have done it. You said you're a bad camera person?
Yeah, I get distracted. I just don't want to look through a phone the whole
How can you
time.
remain silent when you have $1 trillion government entity inside of your phone, inside of your laptop?
It was Saturday, and I just got here yesterday.
And when you swore no to the Constitution,
Targeted
you
even,
just said,
sure.
"Hey, yeah, I trust it." But you didn't read the Third Amendment either. Just like I
The stuff I've seen in with the target individual stuff, just on online alone, is old people that get hunted down all day in real life.
Well, as a police officer, and it's your job to uphold our Bill of Rights, you should know the 10 Bill of Rights off the top of your
Dealt
head.
with police throughout my lifetime. And
You have an app on your phone, just like I have an app on my phone. You download the Constitution, okay? And also, for context,
I got no.
even better.
I was,
Okay, so that's where it should be. So next time, even if you don't know Third Amendment, I never suggest pulling it out, but in this case, you can pull it out. How are we gonna procreate, man? What's your name and badge number? Thank you for being humble. Yes, but please don't go against people. And anything that anybody wants to say, we have the right to swear, we have the right to yell, we have the right to peaceably assemble.
It's disorderly. I don't like it.
Sir, specifically, when does the
That's what I
First
got
Amendment
arrested
end
for.
in disorderly conduct?
I got arrested for disorderly conduct.
There's
And
no answer.
I
I've
didn't
asked
do
dozens of cops.
anything to
There is no
anybody.
answer. Because as
I was
long as
waiting
I'm
for
not
my
destroying
flight.
anybody's property or calling for violence, I have the right to say whatever I want. I have the right to say F you. I didn't preemptively come up and say F you to you, but that's my right.
Right.
It's literally there so we can say bad shit about the government. Because before you couldn't talk shit about King George, but now we get to talk shit about Prater, about Frederickson, and that's what makes this country a good place. Because if you guys are above the law, and that's what's happening now. This is a private event, right? It should be out there for the public. This is a private event where you guys protect the governor who works for us. And now that we can't even access the governor. And maybe if he's going to take questions, it's going to be from.
That's overstated.
No, I would
you can't
I would disagree with you because I've literally went
Maybe you
to.
can't access the governor on your whim.
Well,
but you
I would
could.
disagree with you, and you can go back and look through my channel, right? I've confronted. We've confronted Trump,
Maybe
Biden,
this is where
Hillary.
you're going wrong. Is everything's a confrontation first.
Well, no, I'm explaining to you why, right? I've traveled this country. I've sent countless emails, phone numbers, and when I go to a place, I'll call and try to speak to the mayor or the governor. They're always not there. Then we pop into their office. Oh, is he here? I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not sure. Oh, you don't know the schedule? That's pretty weird, aren't you? His assistant, and they never know, and they're never there. I've literally went to hundreds of city halls in almost every state capital, and not once ever has a governor or a mayor ever followed up. Well, actually, one time in Kansas, a very small town, ever followed up to me and said, yes, I would actually like to meet you via phone, email, or in person. So we have to, unfortunately, confront these people on this question. But what happens later is we FOIA their emails. And what happens? They're more than happy to meet with corporate donors. You want to go out and cut a ribbon? And you want to go ATV riding with somebody? They got plenty of time for that. But for the average Joe, they have no time for us. And that's why we have to go over there. Look, you guys got how many people here? 1, 2, 3, 4, all protecting the governor.
I don't think we're here just for the
What are you here for? What was your assignment today?
I want the hallowed ground, the reverent event to go off without a disruption.
But that wasn't your assignment. And a disruption would be the First Amendment, which you took an oath to protect. So a disruption, when we could stay out here and everything, I mean, we could literally say F you to all those people. We would never do that.
That's awful.
It is awful, but it's our right to do
Right
so.
to do it, right.
So you're supposed to protect
wouldn't do it,
disturbances. You're supposed to protect the protest. I mean, if the
I've
KKK
protected
walked
plenty
over
of
here, you have to protect the KKK. Black Lives Matter, anybody. That's their freedom of
I've done that
speech.
quite a lot.
And that's what you have to do. You have to protect our freedom of speech, everybody. Because if you selectively enforce the law, that's the same thing with disorderly conduct. When you're subjective or it's up to an officer's objectivity, that's the definition of fascism, when you can apply the law selectively. So we're living in a fascist country where if you don't like the message, people get arrested. Meanwhile, fancy pants get an escort to their car. And that's what's the problem with this country.
Rich, keep getting on Rich.
No. I got enough escorts on Backpage and Craigslist. I'm pimping them out here. Which is illegal too because sex work is consensual. And this is the type of thing too. So officers take an oath. It's not just the First Amendment. How many times have these guys here arrested somebody for a weapon? But it says shall not be infringed, right?
Arrested people with weapons.
And that so you've dishonored your oath respectfully, sir, because the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. And the supremacy clause of the Constitution, as well as Marbury versus Madison 1803, says all laws that are repugnant to the Constitution are therefore null and void. And then you got the drug war, the illegal drug war. With alcohol prohibition, you had to get a constitutional amendment. You guys didn't get that. You just got marching orders from Richard Nixon in the United Nations and started arresting people for victimless crimes. And that's the problem, because you guys don't. You might.
I trailed off 10%.
No, so that's the thing. Like,
I try to keep up with you.
you're arresting people. You're threatening to arrest people for disorderly conduct or peaceably assembly. That's a violation of the First Amendment, which you took a sacred oath to. You've arrested people for weapons. Hold on. You've arrested people for weapons, which is a violation of the Second Amendment, which you took an oath to. Right? Officers are the drug war, which I told you is already illegal. Then officers, you guys are supposed to protect their Fourth Amendment right. But every time you show up at a scene, you guys have an ID. You mind if I ID? You mind if I search around over there? You're trained, literally trained to violate our Fourth Amendment. So you guys take an oath to something. I appreciate you for reading it. Half these guys don't even read it, and then you got all these guys.
Claim? I don't think that's right.
Let me tell you, I've
In my
literally
city
dealt
it
with
is.
thousands of police. There's nobody in this country that's dealt with more police officers than me. I'm in the top 5 percentile. Top 5 percentile across this whole country. And these people don't know. I've just the last week, I've asked dozens of cops. They don't know. And the thing is, how many unsolved murder cases are there here? How many untested rape kits are here in Oklahoma City? A bunch.
That was a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big deal here. But instead of Kyle working on something, or maybe, maybe Kyle is not a detective. So, we'll give Kyle the day off so we can give some more time to the detectives to solve those cold cases. But instead, we have a whole bunch
sure,
of
yeah.
salary here protecting
Thank you.
the elite, protecting the public servants, so we can't have access to the people. And constitutional republic is participatory. So if we can't participate via email, phone, showing up, or even seeing
I have an
these people
apple,
here,
I think, in my bag.
and then you're arresting people for the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Third Amendment, trying to take our Fourth Amendment. What's the point? Just rip up the Constitution, right? And just go back to whatever other country.
Why do people fire going? Because they got to keep the drug going. I don't think that's right.